Decepticons, rise up!
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. For this video, I thought it'd be kind of cool to check out some of the Transformers 1 figures by Blockies. Now, we reviewed way back during the hype of Rise of the Beasts their classic class Optimus Prime, which was actually pretty good. Sure, there were some liberties taken with the proportions and the head was a little too big, but for around $20, honestly, it was quite a fun figure to mess with. Since then, they have blown up, more recently with their lineup of Transformers 1 characters, and are even putting Hasbro to bed with some of them. The first wave consisted of an Optimus Prime that had a vastly superior colour scheme compared to the Studio Series version, and a much better looking axe, a Megatron which actually had the movie accurate triple barreled cannon, a Sentinel Prime which not only included his double-sided blade, but also had the ability to flip back and forth from his battle mode, and then finally an Elita 1, which is a character that Hasbro have been dragging their heels with massively, and I've got to say is a figure that they definitely have their work cut out in topping. There was also a second, much smaller wave which saw the release of both Bumblebee and Starscream, but unfortunately I haven't quite managed to be able to get a hold of them just yet. Now they are back with a third wave, which might just be their best yet. This includes Ironhide, Soundwave, and Shockwave, all characters that so far haven't seen a mainline release by Hasbro, but had some pretty banging designs. Ironhide was the figure that I was originally the least excited for, mainly as he doesn't really show up until the very end of the movie, but that hasn't stopped them in absolutely knocking this one out of the park, and he actually is the most poseable out of the bunch. Gone seems to be the chibi-like proportions of some of their earlier releases, and instead we're left with a way more true to form look. I really like how if you give him a quick bump on the back, the LEDs that all of these guys come with lights up the transformation cog beneath the chest. That's honestly a really cool touch. And despite being a model kit, he's also really well made. There's no glue, paint or clippers required to put him together, so pretty much anything that is a different colour is also a separate piece, and it's actually quite cool to see how easy it is to put together. The back of Ironhide also gives us our best look at the design yet. Seeing as these guys don't transform, he is incredibly clean, and I quite like how they've still kept details that would have been a carryover from his vehicle mode. As far as accessories go, in general, these guys all include the same. So up first is one blaster that, much like the robot mode, is super inspired by his look in the Bumblebee film, a pair of interchangeable hands, Optimus Prime in truck mode for some reason, and then finally a display base with two blast effects. Next up, we have Soundwave, one of the highest ranking members of the High Guard, and a terrific looking design. Much like all of the characters from this film, a great updated take on his classic G1 look. The head sculpt looks exactly how he appeared in the movie, and I really like how the over-the-shoulder cannon is still fully integrated into the chest. Despite transforming into some kind of Cybertronian hovercraft, which did look a lot like the Bumblebee movie toy, Soundwave still retains all of the iconic cassette details, and even an opening deck which reveals some pretty sick looking cybernetics. And again, despite not being able to transform, there are still some pretty cool details on his back, such as the ultrasonic speakers, and by making use out of the ones on his shoulders, you can kind of crumple him up, much like the original G1 toy, to almost recreate the original cassette player. As far as accessories go, he includes an interchangeable pair of hands and a display base, so unfortunately no form of handheld weaponry, which I do think is a slight shame, but if I'm honest, I'm not entirely sure he did use any in the film. Finally, we turn to Shockwave.
Raise your hand if wave is in your name. There's a lot of waves.
This guy easily had one of my favourite designs of the whole film, and come on, has there ever been a bad looking Shockwave? Much like Soundwave in the movie, he is depicted as being one of Starscream's most loyal lieutenants, and unfortunately we never really got to see much of his deceptive side, but this figure rocks. Easily one of the best looking classic class to date. The whole upper body looks exactly how he appeared in the movie, and makes the best use out of the LED gimmick so far.
What is your command, Megatron?
The shiny purple plastics mixed in with the metallic silvers are Shockwave down to a T, and I also really like how much detail has gone into the arm cannon. Initially, I wasn't too keen on this kind of void that he does have on the inside of his legs, but surprisingly this is a detail that did actually show up on the CG model. The back of Shockwave though is by a mile still the most detailed looking out of the bunch. The folded wings, which would be a carryover from his very Fall of Cybertron jet mode, are a great touch, and there's just so many intricate panel lines. Something else worth mentioning, which is very much in keeping with the personality of Shockwave, would be how you can mix and match the limbs across the entire line. I think it's super cool how you can create an almost Skybound inspired Transformers 1 Optimus Prime, rocking Megatron's fusion cannon, or how you can fully weaponize someone up with, let's say, the weapons from Sentinel Prime. There's honestly a lot of fun to be had with these guys, despite them not having the ability to transform that I really don't think we've seen from Transformers in a long time. As far as his accessories go though, honestly there's not many to discuss. He includes one alternate hand and a display base, which can be connected alongside the other figures to almost create this battle diorama, which again I did think was quite a cool idea. Turning to posability, not only do these guys look great, but they also move around incredibly well, despite being among some of the smaller non-transforming figures out there. So to begin with, all of their heads are ball jointed, which allows them to look up and down, tilt side to side, and rotate left to right. The shoulders can kick forwards and backwards, as well as completely out to the side. In the case of Ironhide, he's even packing some proper butterfly joints, which if I'm not mistaken, I do believe is a first for this line. The biceps can spin, and Ironhide's elbows are double jointed, allowing for a fantastic range. All of the wrists are ball jointed and the waist can spin, and as part of wave 3 all of them are packing drop down hips, which allows for a fantastic kick forwards, backwards and out to the side. The thigh can spin, their knees can bend way past 90, then finally the feet are ball jointed. But to really see what all three are truly capable of, let's now put them through the pose test. Firing through a few comparisons, first up is the Studio Series Deluxe Class Optimus Prime. Now call me crazy guys, or does the size difference between these two actually really work? Next up is Bumblebee, aka
Badassatron.
And to round off things for Ironhide, here is Megatron, as we now move on to the Decepticons with Soundwave. And then finally, Shockwave. And again, I really do think the sizing between the Classic Class and the Studio Series Deluxes, at least for the time being, works an absolute treat. So, wrapping up on this review for Wave 3 of the Transformers 1 Classic Class. Overall, a great selection of characters, and some which I doubt we'll be getting from Hasbro anytime soon. The detailing across the board for these guys is spot on, and it's great to see both visual and design improvements in comparison to some of their earlier releases. All three are awesome, but if I had to pick a favourite, then honestly it would easily have to be Shockwave. He just looks exactly how he appeared in the movie, and there's always been something about his design in general that for some reason I seem to really like. So in all, fantastic, very enjoyable pocket-sized Transformers, which for the price range leaves you with a very faithful recreation of their designs in the film. But I would love to get your thoughts on these guys down below. As always, I thank you all so much for watching, and until my next video, I'll see you then. Transform and roll out!